Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 511 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Thanks for being here. It means a lot. Because I am very pulled to do this podcast, and I'm just not sure if it's for me or for you or for the person that you share it with, but I know I'm meant to do it, and if you're listening, I know you're meant to hear it. So I'm glad that we're here making the world together, making the world a better place together. You guys are just simply the best, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because we are making the world a better place, even if just by making ourselves better. Okay. In the midst of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. No matter how hard the world pushes against me, there's something stronger, something better pushing right back. That was a quote by Albert Camus that podcaster Lex Friedman posted on X this week. And it's a quote that I think I will keep in my pocket of thoughts that make me stronger. Because most of us don't just walk around feeling empowered and strong and confident and positive 100% of the time. So it's good to have little thoughts like that in our back pocket that bring light to the dark. Because even though we're meant to be happy and we're meant to thrive and enjoy life, that does not happen by accident. I used to think I was doing life wrong because there were things that happened that felt really bad, or because I would make a mistake that hurt me, or maybe it hurt others too. But now I know that that's all part of living a big life. I don't want to play small so that I shield myself from feeling pain or sadness. It doesn't work anyway. No matter who you are or where you're from, life at some point is going to throw something at you out of nowhere, and you're going to be like, what in the world is this? Like, I was not expecting this to happen, and you're not going to believe it. But at some point, it is going to feel like the world is pushing against you. Maybe you think that's happening right now. Maybe you think it's always happening. Maybe it happened in the past at some point. But I want to point out that here you are, pushing back, getting stronger, making yourself better. And I know that you are because you're listening to this podcast about being wildly successful. And deep down, there's something in you and all of us that pushes back when life gets hard. When my husband Eric lost his medical back in May. He's a pilot, and pilots have to pass a medical every 6 months in order to keep flying, which is really a good thing. But it was hard on him, and it was hard on me too. I mean, not only were we worried about his health, but being a pilot, that was part of his identity for many, many years. And for me, I love him being a pilot, and I love seeing him so happy doing what he loves and just being in the air flying, because he is a real pilot. He loves to be in the air. And also, it's our livelihood. So that was scary too. I mean, life felt like it was pushing against us a little bit. And the initial thought a lot of us have, and the initial questions a lot of us ask when life pushes against us is, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to us? I mean, we try to do everything right. What did we do to deserve this? And a lot of times the initial shock of a scary life event, like what we've been going through, will have us feeling like life is pushing against us, maybe even bullying us a little bit. And that is normal. That's okay to feel that way in those first moments, to have all the feelings that come up immediately. But remember when I said earlier that being happy and thriving and enjoying life, it doesn't happen by accident? Well, this is where the rubber meets the road for a lot of us. This is where we decide whether we're going to play victim to life's inevitable circumstances, or if we're going to listen to that pulling inside of us that wants to push back, that's stronger and better and knows we're not a victim, unless we succumb to whatever is happening. We have to push back, not in a forceful, angry way, but in a way that brings us peace. And that's what our inner guidance system always wants for us. Because it's not always possible to feel happy when life pushes against us, but it is always possible to find a little bit of peace. And peace does not happen by accident. And it doesn't happen from woe is me or victim status, and it doesn't come from anything outside of us. It comes from inside. It comes from that pulling inside of us, asking us to push back. Eric and I, over the last 6 months, have found peace through the knowing that this is in some way working in our favor. by asking questions that empower us instead of making us victims. I mean, how different is the answer you get when you ask, how is this working in my favor? Versus asking yourself, what did I do to deserve this? Because our brains, they're hardwired to answer any questions we give it. So when we ask, what did I do to deserve this bad thing happening? Well, your brain's going to go to work at answering it. So it's going to go, okay, well, hold on, let me see. And they're going to dig back into all of your memories. And they're going to go, well, back in high school, you did this bad thing. And oh, maybe you've been drinking too much. Oh, and you also have been judging people a little bit too. It will just give you all the reasons that it can muster up of why you possibly deserve this bad thing happening. And it'll have you feeling so bad that now you're depressed and overwhelmed at how bad things are. Now contrast that to the answers you get when instead you ask, how is this working in my favor? Your brain's going to go to work and be like, okay, let's see, how is this working in my favor? Well, it's gotten us serious about our nutrition and working out. It's made us take a good look at everything we're doing to stay healthy. And I've said 100 times since this has all happened with Eric's medical is that his heart issue was a blessing in a way because it happened at one of his medicals. It got fixed very quickly and it didn't do much damage to his heart. And I didn't get a call in the middle of the night saying he had a heart attack somewhere. So really things are working in our favor because he did get it fixed fast. And so all of that, we keep looking at it and saying, this is working in our favor. We're so blessed. The difference is obvious and life-changing when we push back from the place inside of us that's stronger and better and wants to come out on the other side of this finding peace. And if we really ask the right questions, you can also find happiness and thriving again. When the rubber meets the road, that means that's when you're getting traction. It's when you're taking off. That's when you decide which direction you're heading. And that is what we control. The trajectory of what happens next when it feels like life is pushing against us. There's definitely something inside of it of us that's stronger and better and wants to push back and wants to get us on the other side of this. It's always there and it's in every single one of us. And we feel it, but sometimes we have to shake ourselves to bring it out. I mean, when bad things happen, initial feelings of shock and why is this happening to me are normal. But we were given this built-in inner guidance system that can guide us out of it. It can and will guide us to the other side of it, but it's not going to happen by accident. It's not going to happen on autopilot. And sometimes maybe you've got to get help from someone else. Years ago when my little sister, Molly, was bathing my 2 King Charles Cavaliers we had at the time, she needed extra spending money because she was in college. So Jasper, one of our little Cavaliers, he got a little too excited and basically, sometimes Cavaliers have heart issues, and obviously he did, but his heart gave out when he started running around the bathroom because he got really excited about his bath. Well, I happened to be just right outside the door, and I heard her scream. And now both of us are in a panic, and we're basically freaking out and crying, and just because something bad is wrong, and he's not responding to us anymore. So Eric hears the commotion from his office, and he comes running in, and once he realized what's happened, and we're freaking out, he grabs both of us by the shoulders, and he said to Molly, I need you to get the keys right now. Heidi, I need you to get Jack, our other Cavalier. I need you to get him and get into the car. And he picks Jasper up, and within seconds, we're in the car, and Molly's driving on the way to the emergency vet. You see, he had to shake us awake because we were making things worse by crying and freaking out. We were not making things better. Now, things didn't end well that night for us. I still get choked up when I think about it. We lost Jasper. But because of Eric's calmness, he died in peace. And we knew we had given him every chance to survive because we got him so quickly to the vet. See, it's okay. It's human to have emotion. That's normal. But at some point in a crisis, in order to guide yourself towards peace, you have to be intentional about what you do next. You can't let things get so bad that you don't think there's a way out. You have to be intentional about what you do next. And sometimes it takes someone else to help you to do that. When tough things happen, we have to be tougher. And we do have it in us to be. But we have to make sure that the things we're doing every day set us up to be the best we can be so that when things do happen, we don't just succumb to every bad thought we have. We don't become a victim of our circumstance. We become the creator of the path forward by doing something as simple as asking the right question. For me, it's always the same. Anytime anything happens that is not, I don't think it's great, or it's painful, or it's sad, I ask questions. And I ask these two questions mainly. How is this working in my favor? And what good can come from this? Those two questions are as powerful as that quote I started this episode with about the strength we have inside of us that pushes back when life pushes against us. And also, if all else fails and it feels like all is lost, you may need someone to shake you out of it, like Eric did with me and Molly. And that may mean you have to ask for help by reaching out to a close friend, someone you love, someone you trust, or even a helpline, which I will put in the show notes. My challenge to you this week is to not fake a feeling of happiness when life is pushing against you. My challenge is to be intentional about the steps you take after the initial shock of something bad happening. The emotions you feel are temporary. The trajectory you put yourself on by what you do next may not be. So be intentional with the next step like your life depends on it. My advice is to ask yourself in every situation, no matter how bad, how is this working in my favor? And what good can come from this? The answer to either of those questions will set you on a path that at least finds you at peace, and at best finds you back to thriving. That's what I wish for you. Share this with 3 people who deserve to be thriving. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.